This episode of Lords of the Storm is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, where you, yes you, can also support the show. Just head over to patreon.com/Lords of the Storm to become a patron today.
Greetings, mortal. That's kind of frightening.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 67 of Lords of the Storm, the weekly Heroes of the Storm podcast for you, the true Heroes of the Storm. I am your host, Greg Parker, a.k.a. Gizmozord, but you can call me Gizmo. And on this week's episode, Medivh is live in the PTR. We have our top 2 NA teams for the Summer World Championship, and an era comes to an end in the competitive hero scene. But of course, joining me this evening, as always, are some more of the Zord Lords themselves. First up, we have Mr. Ryan Reeder, a.k.a. TBK Zord. TBK, how are you doing this evening?
I am in a glass box of emotion, Greg. I'm not going to lie. The emotions are flying high. I came off of my Warcraft movie high yesterday. There's been some ups and downs through Heroes play today, and then I feel like I got punched in the gut a little bit. But you know, just like Captain America, I could do this all day. So
I
we will
feel
survive.
A lot of Twitter kind of had the same reaction. It's kind of came out of nowhere, and if you aren't aware of what we're talking about yet, you will be shortly.
Yeah.
It's some heavy stuff, man. But we also have joining us this evening, as always, Mr. Kevin Ellis, the Kevin, a.k.a. Multizord, also known as Multi. How are you doing, Multi?
I'm doing pretty well. I actually just learned about this horrible news like 2 minutes ago when I sat down for this show. So I haven't even processed it yet. So I'm still doing great, actually. Just kind of cruising. No, actually, I suspect that I'm going to have my bachelor party this weekend, and I only partially know this because my best man, Tank Zord, Steven, from the Cavalry, the other podcast, is putting it on, and he's been keeping things with a tight lid on them. I have no idea what's going to happen, like what we're doing, who's going to be there, or anything. Or where it is, or how long it's going to last, any of those details. He did just send me a very cryptic text that said something along the lines of, make sure you get plenty of sleep and pack your computer. So I don't know if this is going to be like a part bachelor party land, or if that's like just something that we do one of the days. Like I don't even know. So we'll see.
The best kind of bachelor party.
I'm actually currently supposed to be at a bachelor party in Vegas. But with the move to Florida and stuff, I couldn't afford it. But yeah, so just shout out to my bud Taylor Moore, and hope you guys have a good time in Vegas without me. Obviously not as good of a time. But
you could have hooked up with Zorns and everything.
I was going to stay with him if I went.
Yeah.
But yeah. Would have been fun, but you know what? I'm super excited to be here tonight because again, some big stuff happening, some exciting things coming this next week. So it's going to be a good show, and yeah. But before we get into that stuff, let's bring things up so we can tear ourselves down later. Let's just talk about what have we been doing in gaming lately? TBK, what have you been up to?
Oh my gosh, so much Warhammer Total War. It is so much fun. I've been having a blast. Me and Swift Sword have been doing a co-op campaign as the Empire. I've got a campaign going as the Dwarves, and it's tons of fun. Like that game, if you like Total War games at all, if you like Warhammer at all, like this is the game. They did such a good job. And then I got some PTR in the last few nights just to kind of play around with Medivh and check out the new rank system a little bit. and I've been trying to get in a bunch of quick match and stuff as well to try and take advantage of the extra XP that's going on this week. And I got Arthas to 10.
Nice.
So this is my 13th rank 10, and I hope to get one or two more before the weekend ends. I've got Zagara super close.
Cool.
So yeah, it's been good. I've been getting a lot of use out of my Crimson Count Arthas skin, which is incredible because he turns into a vampire, and it makes me wish I could fight as the vampire mount. Because anytime a little minion arrow hits me, I turn back into Arthas, and it's just like, no. Like, are these like all silver arrows? Like, I don't understand.
That just means take better pathing, TBK. Come
Yeah,
on.
I guess.
seriously.
Yeah, whatever.
But
If you get hit by minions, I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Arthas lately, and I hadn't really played him since like he was God mode a while back. So it's super fun for me to get back in on. I'm having a blast with him. He feels really good right now. Multi, how about you? What have you been up to? Still a lot of Overwatch?
Oh yeah, trying to squeeze in as much Overwatch as I can. I actually probably played more over the weekend than I have in a while, so that was good. But yeah, I totally forgot last week though, because I was super tired and we had the guests and stuff. I didn't want to take up a bunch of time, but I did last week play in a Pokemon tournament, the video game. Went pretty well. Went a little 4-3 was my end record and stuff, so can't complain. Had a good time.
Nice. Was Team Magma well represented there? Was there a lot of
At
you
least
that played?
5 or 6 of us or so. So yeah,
Very
more than
nice.
you'd think.
Very nice. Well, for myself, it's just been Heroes and Overwatch. You gotta mention I've been playing Arthas. It's actually I've just starting to realize we're getting to the point we're getting enough heroes to where like it used to be I felt really comfortable on pretty much any hero because I rotated so much. But now it's like there's a hero hidden away, stashed in a corner that I forget about, and I'm like, oh man, I need to hop back on them, and it's rough. It's
That's a really good point.
yeah.
Actually.
So like it's getting to the point to where I'm actually like I'm creating a list of like my roster of heroes I want to be able to keep up to par and stuff for Hero League and Team League with the new ranked play coming out. So
Yeah, I'm actually the same way. Like I feel super confident about my play on like a wide variety of characters, but then when it comes down to like actually sitting down with a group and running Team League or something, I always kind of freeze up and I'm like, I'm pretty good at Sylvanas, I guess. Like I don't know why my flexible pool seems to dwindle when the pressure's on. So I don't know if you go through the same thing.
yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the things to come.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in to the show. TBK, what do we got going on in the store sales this week?
Well, since it is Heroes' 1-year anniversary, we've actually got a few more store sales than usual. We, of course, have that 1-year anniversary bundle that comes with Tyrael's Charger, as well as several kind of the more basic, easier to play type heroes, ones that have been around for a while at a fairly significant discount. And remember, too, any purchase you make this week through the 14th, I believe, you'll get that Hellbilly mount for free. So that's pretty cool. And it goes excellently with the Butcher. I just wanted to throw that out there. He looks beautiful riding his pink, fiery Hellbilly thing of death. So store sale wise, we have Kerosene, Lost Vikings. Oddly enough, I don't think I can remember them ever being a store sale.
Yeah, I don't.
And if they
know
have,
either.
hasn't been often. So if you're looking to pick up the Lost Vikings, this is a pretty good opportunity. And then Lunar Illidan and Lunar Jaina, both on sale, as well as the Cloud Serpent and Lunar Dragon mounts. So if you're hankering for any of those, be sure to check those out.
Do they real quick? Sorry, do they charge per Viking or do the 3 of them come together? And,
I think they come together. It's like a package.
okay.
It's buy
It's a
2
good
get one
question, though.
free.
Oh,
Yeah,
but it only
You get Eric free.
It only
the little
comes in the
guy.
pack of 2, so really it's they just all come together.
Yeah.
okay.
It's like
I can go with
it's
that.
like action figures.
Right.
And then we also, if you haven't been playing, get on and play, dang it, because there is bonus holiday XP going on right now. And that is the thing that helps you get to level 10, because that 9 to 10 grind is a pain in the butt sometimes. So it's very nice getting 300 to 500,000 XP per quick match played. I'm a huge fan.
Oh yeah.
And then finally, to also celebrate the first year anniversary, the Heroes Gear Blizzard store is having a 15% off anniversary sale. Just use the code HOTS15 and you'll get 15% off any of your gear physical merchandise purchases from the Gear Blizzard Hero store.
I refuse to click on that link.
Yeah, well,
I
t-shirts, t-shirts.
it's how long does this go on? The sale? Do we know?
At least until the 14th.
Man, what? That's like 4 or 5 more days. So yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna click on the link. Let's be honest, and probably spend some stuff. But hey, stuff to wear to BlizzCon, stuff to
That's right.
wear on the show. So
They got some cool stuff.
Now, is this just for Heroes then, or it doesn't expand out to the rest?
As far as I know, it's just for Heroes gear.
Yeah,
15% off.
Cool.
But we of course have the free hero rotation this week. Multi, what do we got going on there?
We've got a few interesting ones. We've got Malfurion, Vala, Diablo, Thrall, Lieutenant Morales, Zool. That's right, you heard it. Zool with no account level cap on that. We got Chen at account level 5, Rexar at 7, Zeratul at 12, and Sergeant Hammer at 15. So you got your Sergeant Hammer and you got your Zeratul to counter her, right? Is that about how that works?
Yeah, pretty much.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So. Anyway, no, like I said, Zool was interesting to me because he's one that's popped up a few times as having at least some sort of account level bar to him because, he's not the easiest one to really master. Like his kit's kind of okay to understand maybe for new players, but I don't know if someone fresh off the boat's gonna just hop in there and completely understand what's going on if they're coming in from another game or something. So, but the rest of the set's not too bad. Can't complain.
No, not at all. A lot of some good diversity there. I have not seen a hammer in forever. So
I know. And I've got a really cool skin for her. Not that I need her to be free. Man, that just I should play her.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm talking about. It's like, I
know.
forgot this hero's in the game.
Hammer?
Well, when Medivh's in, you heard what DJ Tyrant was saying about him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. No.
Yeah. We'll go over it in the Medivh little
man.
section, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But bank Sergeant Hammer in the back of your mind because there's crazy stuff you can do.
All right. Well, it's time to do this little thing to thank a brand new member of the Zord Lords. So here we go. You have been deemed worthy of bearing the Zord title. Welcome to the Zord Lords. So, before the show, I've been staring at this name for about 30 minutes, trying to figure out how to pronounce it correctly. So I apologize. I'm going to say it 3 different ways, and hopefully I get it right once. But if not, feel free to correct me. But welcome, Hike Tiazord, to the Zord Lords. Welcome, Hike Teazord, to the Zord Lords.
I was gonna say Hikatia.
Hikatia? Hikatia Zord.
Zord.
Welcome to the Zord Lords. Thank you so much for supporting the show, and again, thank you to Owl. It's a little Medivh thing going in there for all the support that you guys give us. It's amazing again, and we love you guys. We love you all.
Also, totally correct us on the pronunciation.
Yeah, absolutely.
One
I feel
way or
like
another.
TBK nailed it. I feel it. Exciting announcements, guys. So we are going to be holding giveaways on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and who knows, maybe next week's live show? Possibly.
Yeah.
All next week. In celebration of the Ranked Play Overhaul patch on June 14th. So make sure you guys are paying attention to all of those things on social media and whatnots. And be looking for some giveaways because they're going to be sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have an applause button. We have some news coming up. So this is more just BattleNet, Blizzard all around, but it's kind of cool. Blizzard and Facebook are officially having a partnership that is going to let players stream Overwatch, Hearthstone, and other Blizzard games, including Heroes and maybe World of Warcraft. We'll see directly to Facebook. So this is interesting. There's not a ton of details out on it yet, and they're also going to be doing some in-game integration to where you can log into Facebook. I assume in-game somehow, kind of like how you can with Twitter. But I think this is cool. Obviously the big streamers and stuff, it's not going to be a big deal to them at all. But for people like me, I think I enjoy streaming. But sometimes I get home from work, I'm tired, I don't feel like wrestling OBS to try and stream a game while I'm wanting to just play a game. So if there's a really simple way to just click something and bam, I'm streaming on Facebook, that's going to be cool. Plus, it's easier to kind of show my friends that aren't necessarily gamers and stuff what's going on, because occasionally I'll post on Facebook, hey, I'm streaming on Twitch, but none of them know what Twitch is, so why would they click on that? So I think it's pretty cool. How well is it going to go? Is it going to have video capability? How's the
Yes,
mic
for our
system going
faces.
to
It is.
work? It is?
I believe so.
I have not seen
I would
anything.
hope so.
Yeah, I would hope
it's
so.
not really a true streaming experience if they don't.
Yeah,
right?
because
It's just
I
watching
think they're
the
trying to
game.
compete with Twitch, right? I think that's the idea.
Well, okay.
I don't know
if
if
they,
the audience is kind of like the right way to do it.
yeah, that's
but
where I kind of take
interesting.
issue. Like if they're legitimately trying to compete with Twitch, then I think they may be going about it a weird way, because how are big name streamers going to move over to Facebook? And is Facebook going to pay them a certain amount for the ad revenue?
I don't-
like Twitch does, or
I don't
gift stuff.
I don't see
Go
this
on.
as a move to compete with Twitch. I think it's more of a move of just reaching a wider audience.
If that's the approach, I'm cool with it. And if like you said, Gizmo, if you just have a quick button that you can press in game to start up the stream on your Facebook, then yeah, it's just exposing the games to more people. And I mean, the fact that this works with all of the Blizzard games is super cool. And the other nice thing would be to just will we be able to stream with our Lords of the Storm group channel?
Yeah,
You know that?
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Do Overwatch on the cavalry and stuff too. That kind of stuff could be cool.
I do want to say I'm going to kind of disagree with you, Gizmo, because it's my thing, and I
Absolutely.
disagree with you. But I feel like this is kind of Facebook dipping their toes into this type of thing and kind of using this as a test bed for possibly expanding it in the future. And it does make a lot of sense to start with Blizzard, just because they've got so many of these big platform games that are such big streaming type games. So I don't know. You guys could be right. It could just be some extra thing, some nice integration, some really easy way to stream stuff out. But I feel like there's going to be bigger plans in the background for this if they get the right response.
Yeah, that could be true. But another thing that this isn't just for individual streamers. This means that tournaments and stuff are also going to be streamed on Facebook as well, which that will reach again a wider audience, I think, hopefully. So good things to come. They said the integration, that there's no date set on it. It's supposed to happen sometime June. That doesn't mean the streaming necessarily. Just kind of making steps towards that. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. The Reddit ranked AMA recap on Reddit happened this last week, and Gosu Gamers had a nice little recap for that, which ended up being really cool. And my screen's freezing up, but there we go. Okay. So a lot of things came out of this, but we're just they have it really nice and organized here, and we'll post the link to this. But some of the points. Most current ranked 1 players are going to be placed into Diamond. The placement is going to be capped at Diamond 3, so you can't go any higher than that whenever you're queuing. There's going to be 1,000 points per division, so 1,000 points between bronze 5 and bronze 4, and it's going to be about 200 points per game that you win or lose. But there's a lot of other stuff, but a couple of the interesting things. Hoping to display MMR in game.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. I know a lot of people have been wanting this. I've kind of gone back and forth on the idea. No other MOBA does this, I don't think. It's kind of... It can put a lot of criticism on Blizzard because, then we know for sure what Blizzard thinks we're at. But they haven't put a timeline. It's not for sure. Just something they're thinking about. And then swaps coming to draft. So this
That's a big one.
Yeah, this is big. I know. Did we talk about it last week with Josh? I believe we did. He said that was one of the big things he thought was missing.
Yeah, one of the big things.
Yeah, because he was saying, he didn't see Team League being anything to mesh in with the competitive scene because it didn't have this. Well, now it's they're looking at it, and again, no
Here's your
time frame on that, but I don't know. We're hopeful. Soon.
They didn't give
TM-ish.
time frames on anything, which was kind of funny. Like every post they did,
It's a very
they're
Blizzard
like,
thing to do.
"Oh yeah, no, it's their standard MO." But it's funny to read like time and time again throughout the thread, where it's just throughout the whole thing, they're like, "And no particular time frame on this." I love it when they use the soon TM, like the actual. They write out the trademark next to soon. That's pretty funny to me.
Yeah, and then they're looking at putting a voice chat in game, which I don't care either way because I would use Discord or my other means, and if people want to hear other people in game, they can. If they don't want to, you can mute it, I'm sure. But kind of going back to the Facebook thing, this is another one of those things that I'm hoping you'll be able to use your own mic input and stuff, and not, again, you just stream the game and then it's seeing what your screen is, no webcam, and using the in-game voice chat, because that would be not ideal. Because obviously you wouldn't be able to talk to your audience or anything without talking to everybody in the game. But, were there any other points in this that you guys took out of it you thought were big and we hadn't really seen before?
The Overwatch feature that allows you to pick a player and then not play with them again. I don't know if it works or not. It may not work correctly in Overwatch, but they said they want a similar implementation to where if you had some person who was just super trolling you or something like that, not only could you block them, but you could also set them on a don't match me with this person. And I think that would be an incredible feature.
It would be cool because you can't really abuse it either. Like if you are kind of toxic yourself and you just tend to not like people and hit that button quite a bit, then actually you're going to extend your own queue times because there's going to be this huge pool of people that the matchmakers not trying to match you with. That was something that happened during the Overwatch beta. There were some people that were just for the heck of it clicking the avoid on the end of everyone and then ending up with hour-long queues and stuff like that. And they were stuck with it. So just a word of the wise when it does come out, use it with caution, sparingly.
That's a good point. I kind of feel like this should just be built in with blocking a player. Because my worry,
I agree.
My worry was, this player's really bad. I do not want to play with them again. Blocked. But you bring up a point of extending queue times. I imagine you would have to block a ton of people for that to start taking effect. But
maybe, except that now we're going to have the different queues for regular quick match, the unranked draft, and then the ranked draft and team league. You could start limiting yourself. I'd be worried if I was doing that too much, especially if you just did it for people that you didn't think were that great,
Yeah, that's true. Noob, I don't want to play with you.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm sure there would be a cap. I mean, there's a cap to your ban list. There's a cap to your friends list. So there would most likely be a cap to discourage you from using it too flippantly.
Yeah, I like that word, flippantly. Medivh, he is in the PTR. Yes. So since Tuesday, I don't know if it's something wrong with my PTR, but I've tried getting in there 4 or 5 different times, and all the game modes except for custom have been not playable. So I was only able to try Medivh in the try mode, So not really against other heroes, which I'm not sure I really want to in a quick match setting anyways. However, I will say I don't think he's going to be as hard to play in a solo queue as I had initially expected. I think he still will be hard, but his Q does a lot more damage than I was expecting. I think it's a great wave clear. It does decent damage to heroes, but holy cow, that shield is nuts, and the teleport is nuts, and the mounting is nuts. It is super fun though, and I am so excited to play him. Have either of you gotten to try him out in the PTR?
I did not yet. I intend to get him with gold, so I'm just kind of hanging out right now.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm the Q. I could see possible slight reduce in damage on that because again, it's an excellent wave clear.
Yeah,
So-
I heard some crazy things. I don't know if that's what you're getting into, TBK. The conversation on Twitter we had with like Kyle Ferguson and DJ Tyrant and all that. Apparently, there's some crazy things you can pull off with that portal.
There are some ridiculous things. So I have not personally played him. I played against him several times because I as well am going to buy him with gold this time around. So from what I've seen kit wise, his Q is very strong, especially because the cooldown is reduced to next to nothing if you hit a hero with his Q, which is pretty crazy because it does travel through things. His shield is bonkers. It's on like a 6-second cooldown, 6 or 7 second cooldown for a second and a half complete damage nullification, which is absolutely mind-blowing. He has a level 16 talent that can allow that to spread to
What?
people, to his teammates that are near the person the shield is cast on.
That's
You
a
can
terrible
still CC people while the shield is on. It doesn't make you completely immune, but it does make you immune 100% to damage, which is absolutely insane.
Oh, think of the burst you could block and stuff. It's nuts.
No, it's nuts. Like, it was incredibly frustrating as a team that didn't have one to play against a team with one, especially a team with one and a support. It was very tough. The portal is bonkers, and there's some talents that can buff it in just some absolutely insane ways. But I mean, we talked about some of the things. ETC can mosh pit and then right click on the portal and be transported to the end portal. So you could start a mosh pit, throw the portal down exactly where you wanted it to go, and then be there. Dahaka can drag with his tongue through portals.
Drag people through it. Yeah.
Yes, drag people through it. And there's a talent you can get later on that allows you to extend the portal, or there's a talent that extends the portal duration, and there's a talent that extends the portal range. The range on the big portal is bonkers. It is absolutely insane. And so just some of the amount of plays that you can make or have the ability to make with this hero are insane. I think he's going to be okay in quick match. I had my doubts, but you can definitely do some stuff just because of your trait, because of the shielding, and the portal might not be used to, maximum efficiency in a quick match or hero league type scenario, but on a team, I feel like this character is going to be godlike. Not only do you have these 3 awesome main abilities, you've got 2 ultimates, which are insane. You've got a moving version of Void Prison, and then you've got Polymorph on steroids called Polybomb. And Polybomb can actually infinitely travel. Like, there's no stopping to it until there's not a person in range of the last person when they finally come out of it. So the CC potential is huge. I've seen it used actually with a Thrall Earthquake.
Oh yeah.
And to ridiculous proportion. It was incredible how well it was used. And I haven't even touched on the mount. He turns into a bird and he becomes completely invulnerable to absolutely everything. This means that you have zero reasons to ever get caught by like a bush party ever again. He can scout absolutely. He can't pick anything up with it, thankfully, but he can scout everything out before his team goes in with zero impact to himself, which is just such an incredible, like,
Oh yeah, and
just it's an incredible tool.
he can give you sight over your enemy's walls so that you can pick
Yeah.
off some extra people with some snipes, like with Chromie or somebody. You
Oh
know?
yeah,
It's just nuts.
It's I'm super excited about. I think this is a hero that could bring other heroes back into the mix, like you mentioned
true.
with Dahaka, possibly Hammer, etc. You don't see as much of him lately.
That hammer trick, by the way, you can be in siege mode and next to the portal and just click between the two of them and then reposition yourself.
Yeah, that's insane. But
Yeah.
his mount, I feel like that is a little bit too strong right now, being able to see through those bushes and stuff, because the team that has him is going to have such a large advantage. I mean, party bushing and stuff is a huge strat. I almost feel like,
Yeah.
he should be able to scout, if they're on bosses and stuff. I don't think he should be able to see into bushes when he's mounted, because it would make sense. He's a bird. He's high up in the air.
Sure.
Can't see in that bush. So
it's pretty crazy. Like he feels very much like first pick, first ban material right now, and it's going to be interesting to see how they balance him, because, and we talked about this, Kevin, on our Chromie episode. Like Chromie, much of the power of him is built, and much of the ability of him is built into the kit, and so without altering the abilities it will be a lot harder to adjust it. I could definitely see him in the future possibly getting some cooldown increases to some of his abilities to kind of help balance that a little bit, especially that shield, which is, again, absolutely bonkers. But yeah, he's going to shake things up.
yeah,
For sure.
For sure. Which is fun, but I am concerned, definitely. And, like, honestly, I love every one of his abilities. I just kind of wish that they were spread out over 3 or 4 different characters.
Yeah.
Because having all this strength in one place, I think, is going to be a bit much.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Greg?
I was, other heroes that he can bring back into the mix. Think about, how many heroes there are that people think are awesome, but aren't played because they have no escape. Bam, you have escapes now. And TDK, did you ever kill a Medivh when you were playing against them? Because you should not die as Medivh.
I did. You need CC really to be completely effective as him, because he has almost a version of Chromie's, quick hearth talent just built in with his Raven form. Because if he can back out and do that, it's you're done.
Damage
interrupts it though, yeah? Or is it
damage
like the
damage does interrupt it.
But your shield.
And I need to do some more testing on if the shield blocks
channeling,
the channeling or not. I don't know. I was playing around in the training mode, and the shield didn't seem to block me being able to go into my Raven. Like it seemed to interrupt me still, even though I wasn't taking the damage. So if that ends up actually being the case, I think that's good. That's how it needs to be, because the first game I played on Tuesday, the Medivh was able to actually throw his shield on and then go into bird form, and there was nothing I could do about it. There was a little PTR update I saw earlier today or something, so it's possible they hotfixed something. I don't know. But I hope, regardless of the outcome, that's what it ends up being. And
they need to take that away, because as the Medivh player, you'd
that
probably
shouldn't be a
really
thing.
tempted to save it for yourself, and thus you're not really using it on some of your allies.
It's
and
on
getting
such a
close
short
out of it,
cooldown
so.
too.
Well, yeah,
anyways.
that's true too. But yeah, we lose video on the Twitch again.
Yep. Yeah. So, regardless, I'm excited. We'll see. It'll definitely be interesting. I think, like we said, we think he's going to mix things up. But let's go ahead and move on into tournament talk. some big things happened this last weekend and throughout the beginning of this week and today. So, TBK, why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
Yes, so first off, we had the Summer NA Regionals happen this last weekend, and there was amazing games played. There were some pretty big upsets and some new faces, which is awesome. So it ended up being that Gale Force Esports actually won and will be joining Naventic for the Summer Championships. Not only did they win, they actually ended up besting Naventic for first place.
3-0.
Yeah,
3-0.
3-0, and secured that second spot without going into that tiebreaker match with Cloud9, who was knocked out in the 5th, 6th place bracket, which is crazy. Brainpower actually 2-0'd them twice, I believe, or at least 2-1 them. There was lots of matches. I don't remember exactly, but Brainpower beat them twice. So it was pretty crazy. Gale Force put on a clinic. They did such an amazing job. Astro Authority really showed up as well. They finally made it into the top 4, which was really, really cool. And overall, just lots of really good play, lots of really good games. What did you guys think? Did you guys catch some of those?
So,
Go ahead.
I didn't get to catch as much as I wanted. There were issues again during this tournament. Not all one party's fault. It was kind of a mix of several things. So I just didn't have the time to kind of wait for those games to start and stuff. But I did catch, a lot of I did catch the entire final set and some games on and off in between. Play of the tournaments, the Mike Udall Asthma Dunk. Insane.
Yes.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. And just him having the Asthma Dunk skin made it 10 times better.
With the ASU colors, of course.
Yeah. But, the finals brought up a little bit of controversy. I don't want to get into it too much. But it's Naventic getting 3-0'd is mind-boggling. I mean, Gale Force played out of their minds. It was amazing. Crowan is giving Fan a run for his money as best Leeming NA, if not surpassing him. That dude was killing it. But, the whole Cloud9 not getting their second chance or whatever, getting that second spot, they had a chance. They had 2 chances in this tournament. Weren't able to pull it together. They did have some roster changes, and you saw some kind of uncharacteristic things come out of Naventic, which is kind of what raised some eyebrows. But bottom line, these people, I don't think are going to lose games intentionally. This is how they make their living right now. It's not,
Is that the controversy, or people thinking they threw it?
Some people think they did because Cloud9, they wouldn't have to play Cloud9 or whatever in the Worlds. But yeah, I don't think Naventic was going to intentionally throw games at all. Again, they want that prize money. This is how they make their living. Gale Force just played incredible, and I'm super excited to see them move on.
No, they did an absolutely fantastic job. I was really impressed with their play. Brainpower did great. Astral did great. And, I mean, we did see some good play out of Naventic. I feel like Naventic and Gale Force will represent NA very well in the Summer Championship.
I was fanboying over Gale Force the whole time, by the way.
Oh, yes.
And it was funny for me because I watched the last day, at least, for the most part. I caught a few matches in the first couple days, but yeah, like, I actually watched the semifinals, and, I mean, I saw Gale Force win, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, I know they're against Naventic, and it would be cool if they did well in the finals, but yeah, they've made it this far. I don't really care how it goes. And so I actually didn't tune in for the first match of their set. I went out and mowed the lawn and stuff, but I checked it in the middle of it just to see how it was, and I saw they were up 1-0, and I was like, okay, now I have to watch the rest of these, and it was incredible. So super huge grats to you guys for what was just a phenomenal showing. No doubt.
And a huge shout out to Gilly for casting from a closet
Yes.
on Friday.
I caught a little bit of that.
That was the bad production ESL day, and Gilly stepped up and casted from a closet, basically, and it was rough, but it was really cool that she ended up doing that. One of the caster who was supposed to do it, the PC died apparently, so she stepped up and did that. So it was long, but it was still enjoyable. There's still some really good games. And transitioning right into that, we are going to talk about the Summer Championships. Yes, they are happening very, very soon. Actually, June 13th will be the first day. They're going to play these group stages over the entirety of next week, really. So everything's going to be really spread out. There's not going to be any super long days. So this is going to be the top 12 teams from around the world battling it out for a $500,000 prize pool. It's held in Sweden. DreamHack Sweden is where this is going to take place. For those of you who are collectors, there is a portrait for this if you connect your Battle.net and Twitch accounts, and we'll have the link with all the information for how to do that. You'll receive this really sick-looking 2016 Diablo portrait just for jumping on and watching. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, first group stages will take place Monday, June 13th, and then they will run all week. Single elimination semifinals and grand finals are all best of 5. The teams that are currently playing are from Europe, Team Dignitas and My Insanity. From North America, of course, Naventic and Galeforce Esports. From China, E-Star and X-Team. From South Korea, MVP Black and Tempest, who actually, and just another little bit of news, pulled a massive upset over MVP Black in their second qualifiers, taking them 3-0,
Oh, wow.
which was pretty crazy. Big Gods from Latin America, Please Buff Arthas from Taiwan, which they got their wish, apparently. So
They want more, though, clearly. They didn't
want
change
more,
their name.
yeah.
They still want more.
Renovatio 1 from Southeast Asia, and Negative Synergy from Australia and New Zealand. So these are your 12 teams, $500,000 prize pool. Dreadnought, Gilly, Kalaris, Kendrick, Caldor, Todd, Wolf, and Jhow will be casting. There will be several streams in all sorts of languages you can watch, and there's even a possibility of a U.S. American newcomer stream that was mentioned in the Reddit thread I'll talk about a little later. So I don't know if that's going to still happen or not, but if so, that's kind of a cool thing to have to introduce new people, like a more new person friendly stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really cool deal.
I gotta say, I really like the way this tournament is set up. Spreading out these group stages makes it much easier for people to catch more of the tournament. Again, not having to set 2 full days aside to watch a tournament. So it's nice to break it up, and I kind of hope it continues in this direction.
At the same time, though, remember, this is being played in Sweden.
Yes, I know, but
these times will probably not be super friendly for us here in the States.
But the VODs are going to be spread out, which is also super nice.
Yes.
We can take our time, pick and choose which ones we really want to watch, and go at about it at our own pace, which I have always enjoyed about VOD watching anyway, but that it's spread out makes that a little easier too.
absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so let's get on to some of the really big news that has happened just in the last few days. So for many of us, we have heard of or known or seen Zoya. He has been a fairly big caster in the hero scene for quite a while. He was the manager of Tempo Storm for quite a while as well. He announced just a few days ago that he is stepping back from the hero scene for personal reasons, for reevaluation, to try other things. He wasn't happy where he was, and so he's going to be stepping back for now. So we wish him, of course, the absolute best of luck. Great guy.
Yeah.
And
Well, quickly, it doesn't sound like he's stepping back completely yet.
No.
He is still, I believe, unless something came out today, managing Tempo Storm.
He still wants to cast.
Yeah,
too,
and,
if I'm
and
not
he still wants to
mistaken.
cast, not as often. He mentioned how much he loves casting with Gilly and kind of wants to keep that duo together. But overall,
Don't
know,
expect to
and-
be seeing near as much of him as you did.
correct. And overall,
sure.
he's taking a step back and possibly down the line, we don't know. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Moving on, but
Yeah. And kind of along the same lines, just today, Solid Jake announced he's going to be doing a similar thing. He's going to be taking a little bit of a step back from Heroes. He's still going to be doing Town Hall Heroes, which is, a lot of you know, is the Heroes podcast that focuses a lot more on the competitive scene. So he's going to still be doing that, but at the same time, he's going to be stepping back from as much casting, as much probably content creation as he was doing, and he's going to be focusing more on Town Hall Overwatch and his Overwatch content and casting Overwatch as well. So again, we wish him the best of luck. It's definitely sad. Both these guys have been in the hero scene for a really long time. It sucks to lose some of their focus, but you got to do what you got to do, right? It's just one of those things. So we wish them the best of luck in what they're doing. And finally, the news
one
that came
today.
out literally like 45 minutes before we recorded. Cloud9 published, the org Cloud9 published a press release saying they had disbanded their HOTS team, which includes Caterpillar, Dunk Train, K1 Pro, iDream, and King Caffeine. And not only did they disband their HOTS team, they are also pulling out of HOTS entirely. So this is a really big deal, and we'll definitely all comment a little bit on this because this is one of the oldest orgs in Heroes. This org has been around almost since the beginning. Originally, they fielded two teams, Cloud9 Vortex and Cloud9 Maelstrom, which they eventually integrated into one Cloud9 team. They were the world champs at the last BlizzCon. Up until the last several months, they had been doing quite well. They had fallen off. They've fallen off a decent bit here lately, and I suppose the performance in this last regionals, the 5th, 6th place, just ended up being the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. And so the org is, and the Oregon is no more as far as a HOTS team goes. So personally, for me, I mean, good luck to all the guys. Several of them will probably become free agents. We don't know exactly what each of them will be doing. We do know as of just a short while ago that iDream is considering going back to school instead for the moment. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with the rest of these players. We'll definitely keep you updated. This is probably one of the most prominent teams in Heroes. Anybody who's around
World
the scene is-
champions, no
Yeah.
big deal.
Anybody who's around the scene has probably heard of them, probably followed them. This was like one of my favorite stories, honestly. Like memories of Cloud9.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to get a little reminiscent, Cloud9 and Tempo Storm used to have a massive rivalry. It was really big time. It was so fun to watch all through last year as the two teams battled each other, and Cloud9 slowly ended up taking the upper hand and to eventually become the world champs. It's
For a long
fun to-
time, Cloud9 was playing second fiddle to Tempo
Yeah.
Storm, and then
Yeah.
for them to turn it around almost last minute to become the world champions was definitely the coolest story of last year, if not the game's history so far.
Yeah, and I love all their players have a ton of skill, ton of personality. Probably my favorite Cloud9 memory was BlizzCon when they were playing. I believe it was who did they play in the final?
talking about the Murky,
Was it DK?
the Murky
Team DK?
draft.
The murky
Yes.
draft, though.
I was it Team DK that they played?
I seem
I
to think so.
think
We should
so.
know this, but chat.
It's-
if you
it
It
wanna
was a long
been
time ago.
It was a long time
It
ago,
was,
yeah. But regardless, they pulled out the murky.
Dignitas.
Oh yeah, it's Dignitas. Yep.
Was it Dignitas?
Josh should know. He knows this. It is.
Josh should
We're going
know.
to take
That's
your
what he
word
does.
for it.
We'll take Josh's word for it.
Oh no, it's Team DK.
Yeah, see?
Damn.
Okay, I was right.
Oh.
I feel vindicated. But yeah, they pulled out this incredible murky and Leoric comp against Team DK on Cursed Hollow. And Team DK, it was just like the never die comp.
Yeah.
And Team DK just seemed completely out of their element. They had no idea how to deal with it. It was like one of the first times Murky had been seen in competitive play. It was.
Oh,
it
the
was
crowd was
insane.
going nuts. Like it was.
It was nutso.
Yeah, I was front row for
And-
that. Swift and
Yeah,
I.
you know, no,
Yeah, and we saw you on stream. at one point.
Well, the best part about that was the camera, like going across Cloud9's faces and stuff as that was going on, and like Dunk
As they
Train's
made the
just
pick.
little smirk to the camera.
Uh-huh.
It's like, just wait, look what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's probably my fondest Cloud9 memory. What about you guys? I know this is definitely a huge deal just in the HOTS community in general.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking just the other week about how kind of nervous we were about MVP Black thinking about backing out, and because they obviously did so well at the last World Championship that we just had. But I mean, these are the BlizzCon champions from last year that are pulling out of the game entirely, and that's a much bigger blow to me. Like we were talking about red flags. This is like I'm still not to the point where I'm super like scared for the life of the game or anything yet, but it's starting to get more worrying for sure. And the more this stuff happens, the harder it is for maybe other teams to get into the scene because they're nervous about the money. I mean, to me, this was probably a call in part by Cloud9, the organization, as well. Maybe it's even a reaction to how well their Overwatch team is doing, and maybe they just think they're going to get that much more money out of Overwatch as an esport, and their team's doing super well, like almost can't be touched in Overwatch at this point. So maybe that weighed into it. I don't really know the business side of things. I just know that this had to have been a business decision of some kind, and it's all probably tying back to that money.
Yeah. It's well, first the murky thing's probably one of my greatest memories, but overall,
Oh, yes.
just following Cloud9, I became fans of theirs the previous BlizzCon, whenever Heroes was super early on, and they just had the Invitational in Cloud9. Maelstrom won that event, and just the way they played has always been super exciting to me. I've really loved the fact that they have been had one of the most regular rosters throughout the life of the team, at least the Cloud9 we know of today or knew of. Sad face.
Right.
So I respected
was-
them a lot for that.
It was because of that we all picked them to be the second place.
Yeah.
Like the other one to go like last week.
And
Previous.
you know,
preliminary.
it does sound like, you know, this was a completely an organization decision. Otherwise, you know, we probably would have seen some roster swaps or something. But yeah, where's Josh? I need my anti-doom and gloom. Tell me it's gonna be okay. No, I'm not worried about the state of the game. Again, you know, competitive scene. Yes, this is a huge hit. Cloud9 is one of the largest esports organizations in the world, not just for Heroes. So the fact that they don't want to be a part of Heroes anymore, and that's not to say forever. You know, they may join back in at some point, is a big thing. But again, I don't play this game because I enjoy watching the competitive scene. I do enjoy watching the competitive scene, but I play this game because I freaking love this game, and this doesn't impact that at all. So, you know, us as just players of the game, casual players, hardcore casuals, whatever you consider yourself, everything's going to be fine. Things are looking not fine. It's going to be great. We have the new ranked system coming out. We have Heroes coming out all the time. So,
And we'll actually talk about this a little more in depth later with some listener questions too.
yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, we don't know what's going on with all the players right now, but we could see some pretty big roster shifts in the overall scene coming up because of this. Again,
And I think we will.
yeah, we don't know who's staying, going to continue to play Heroes. We don't know who's going to move on to different games. We don't know who's going to go back to school. But this is big because, again, sounding like iDream right now, who is possibly going back to school. So counting him out, just if we push him aside, we still got Caterpillar, Dunk Train, K1, and King Caffeine, 4 of the best players in North America, and they are free agents right now. So again, we wish those players, all of them, all 5 of them, the best of luck. I'm going to continue enjoying seeing your guys' storylines unfold in the hero scene, should you choose to stay in this. And again, if you guys don't, your decision. I'm not going to hold anything against you. It's been an absolute blast watching you guys.
But if they do decide to stay, they've got a heck of a resume to fall back on. They'll
Yeah.
be worth a pretty penny
Sure.
to the team that picks them up, I would imagine.
So, again, it's sad to see him go, but tip of the hat to you guys. And Cloud9 is an organization, too. I can understand your business decision. You guys are still a great organization, and, we hope to see you guys come back at some point.
Yep.
But moving on, we have some PTR patch notes to discuss. Not super large. The big thing, Medivh entering the game. Of course, the new ranked system coming in. I found something interesting reading through these in the system changes, just more about the matchmaking, the MMR normalization. So the seeding, MMR seeding, how this is going to work. If you have never played Hero League in preseason, your first time in Season 1, it's going to be your quick match MMR that's used as a guideline for your placement matches and stuff, which is understandable. Makes sense. However, future seasons are going to be using unranked draft mode MMR to seed into Hero League matchmaking, which not sure how I feel about that necessarily.
So what that means is that if you've never played Hero, like right now, if you've never touched Hero League before, your quick match MMR is what it will base your starting MMR for placement matches for. In future seasons, when a brand new person who's never done Hero League before comes in to do Hero League, instead of basing it off your quick match rating, it will base it off your current unranked draft rating for your initial placement MMR stuff.
Okay.
That's how that's going to work.
That
Any
makes sense.
current seasons, if you've played Hero League before, will be based off of your previous season Hero League or Team League MMR.
Okay. I like that then.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I was worried. I was like, I don't want my unranked draft. I want my unranked draft mode to not affect my ranks. I want to be able to mess around with team compositions and stuff in there still. But yeah, adding stuff to the shop, some slight user interface changes, and then holy cow, Tyrael getting some changes. His ability is just getting some mana reductions. Nothing super exciting, which is nice though because he's one of those players I haven't played in a while. But
It is. He's so mana hungry.
yeah, exactly. The only thing I remember about him is holy cow, this guy eats through mana so fast. So that's going to be helpful. And
But
nice.
every ability is cut. QWER.
Yeah, by 5. And
by
his
5 and then the
judgment by
ultimate
20.
judgment, yeah, by 20.
So that's cool.
You
And
forgot to mention the biggest thing, Greg.
What did I miss?
You missed the other end of an era. RIP AFK Infinite XP mode.
What?
Oh,
AFK
the
detection has
trial?
been added to training mode games. You can no longer use it to farm XP. Sorry, guys. It's dead.
I never did that anyways, you cheaters. You guys getting
Yeah.
your vulture mounts.
I didn't do it for the vulture mount at all. You're right. Only on the 4th account. I mean, I wasn't that bad.
4th. I got mine honorably. I actually had 2 people level up for me, so I only had to level 2. It was nice.
Oh,
It was awesome.
okay.
Actually, I may only had to do 1. I don't remember. But yeah, so nothing big. We'll see if there's any balance changes or anything incoming, and kind of update you guys on that next week. But TBK, what do you got going on for community content this week?
So this week, my community content is actually the Heroes of the Storm Summer Championship Survival Guide. This is on Reddit, and it lists out basically everything you could possibly ever want to know about the Heroes of the Storm Championship coming up next week. It's got links to everything. It's got information on all the teams. It's got all the times and everything. So we'll have a link to that in the show notes. Be sure to check that out if you want to attempt to probably have to wake up really early and catch some of these games. But otherwise, you can watch the /r Heroes of the Storm Reddit, and I'm sure there'll be links to VODs and everything as the week progresses.
Very nice. It's a handy little thing to get you through the Summer Storm Championships. There you go.
Survive.
Survive it. We have time this week, guys. We have time to get to some listener questions.
Yes, we do.
Which I'm super excited about. So, Multi, why don't you go ahead and kick it off with our first question from DJ Tyrant.
I was hoping you were going to do that. Yeah, actually, a lot of these questions are kind of related, which is nice. But DJ Tyrant writes, looking back at the post-BlizzCon hype about the matchmaking changes. Oh, no, that's the next one. Let me go back. Okay. Rewind. This is DJ Tyrant's question. Question for the show. How do you feel with the changes to stun and to battle momentum not dropping the heroic cooldowns? Have you seen this make a positive impact in games? So he's referring to like the reduction of stuns and roots, technically, I'm sure, as well as the fact that battle momentum now cuts down your normal abilities a bit more, but doesn't work on the heroic cooldown. Personally, I don't think it really affected it too much, at least looking at the pro scene when I was watching this weekend. I had probably the most fun watching ever because I was just rooting for Gale Force that hard, but that's beside the point. As far as how it feels, I don't fully know yet. What do you guys think? What's your thoughts? Have you played anyone that really used to benefit from battle momentum, like Zagara or somebody?
The heroic battle momentum stuff, yeah, it was nice. I don't think that's a change we would really notice in the competitive scene. With the communication and how well those people play, there's never really any wasted heroics. There's some misses and stuff, but they generally always have them up for the team fights. The important moments. It really hasn't been super noticeable. Otherwise, the stuns I have noticed a little bit, and I'm glad it's a little harder to hit some of those stun combos now. The Tyrande ETC, Diablo, Tyrande, which is nice. I like that skill. I like playing squishy heroes, so I like not for sure dying if I get hit by one stun now. But I do think it's a positive impact. Again, teaching people to save those heroics for when they're important, and just adds a little bit more skill to the chain stuns and whatnot. But it hasn't been super noticeable, I don't think. It's just been very slight. I don't know. What do you think, TBK?
I think it opens up a few more possibilities, right? It's a good change in that it will allow Blizzard to tweak them individually now instead of as one big thing, which just gives them another balancing switch they can have, which is really nice. So I've been feeling pretty good about the battle momentum changes. The stun type stuff it's really interesting because a lot of the changes didn't seem like a whole lot, but in this type of game, 0.25 or 0.5 seconds can actually be a really big deal as far as stunts and stuff goes. I think it's allowed a little more of the mobile characters to rise up a bit as far as pick order and kind of power, just because the stuns have been decreased somewhat, which we saw a decent amount of Tracer at this last regionals. Li Ming was in just about every game. She's very mobile. She does a lot of damage. I'm fairly neutral on the whole thing. I mean, I still feel like there's a decent amount of crowd control type stuff in the game, and so it hasn't really affected me to the point where I'm just like, this is amazing or this is
Right.
horrible. I'm just kind of neutral to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Really.
it's kind of like, do you notice it? Not really.
But
Do you
it
think
does
it's a
have
good
an
change? Yeah, I do think it's a good
because
change.
like what they're trying to combat really isn't necessarily one stun and the amount of bursts that can be done in that time, but the stun meta of chaining them together and that sort of thing, and like stun into a root, into a whatever. And I mean, maybe we don't see the difference when we're just watching the game, like on the pro scene, like you said, but it still is going to be impacting the characters teams pick, certain talents maybe that people are picking on individual heroes and that sort of thing as well. So it's having an impact, but it is kind of hard to totally feel out at this point. You guys are right.
Yeah, a quarter of a second feels like quite a bit. That's one stun. Two stuns, that's half a second now.
Right.
So
That's
that's
a ton of
that's a
time.
big deal. What do we got for question number 2?
Question number 2, I started to read already, but I'll back up. It's from Shardstorm, and Shardstorm writes, looking back at the post-BlizzCon hype about matchmaking changes, and talking about the introductions of bans and the upcoming start of Season 1. Now we're on the cusp of Season 1 kicking off with unranked draft coming in. Are you happy with how all that worked out? The matchmaking changes, bans, the late introduction of Hero League and Team League rewards, the whole lot. He really just kind of wants us to sit down and really think through, how we feel about all this stuff. And I mean, these are definitely the things we were looking for. My initial reaction is that I mean, I'm super excited that a lot of this is dropping next week, but it still feels like super late for like the course of the game. I mean, talking about the fact that we're now over a year old since the launch. And I mean, we've been playing since the tech alpha, so like it feels like way even longer for us.
I mean, it's
to
been
be
over
waiting
2
for this thing.
years.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but I mean, my quick and dirty answer though is yeah, I've actually been pretty happy with a lot of these things. The one thing about the matchmaking changes can sometimes be the longer queue times. I've noticed, especially for me, because a lot of the games I try to get in, I just kind of want to get a couple done in and out and then go on with some other stuff throughout the day. And makes it a little tougher to do that, but not enough to really dissuade me too much at this point. So
Yeah, the most of it I'm happy with. Bans, again, the whole overshadow of this entire thing is, yes, a lot of it came really late.
right.
But the bans, excellent. The Hero League and Team League rewards, I wasn't personally really expecting anything for preseason besides like, hey, if you participated, thanks for participating. Here's something like a portrait.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about the mounts and stuff. I think those are awesome. The matchmaking changes, happy with them except for quick match. I still don't quite understand what happened in quick match. I don't play. I don't think I spend as much time in this game as I used to, unless I'm playing with friends. I don't spend nearly as much solo time because I don't really enjoy quick match unless I'm just going in because I want to, try out some stuff on a hero or whatnot, because I don't enjoy playing in these weird mashup of comps. I don't know what happened to cause it to where there's no, warrior support and 2 assassins and specialists or 3 assassins, whatever. What happened?
Yeah,
to
they were
those
trying
comps?
forever to combat that.
Well,
like,
and they
kept
every-
saying stuff.
Yeah, everything
Go
they
on.
were adding sounded like, oh, it's going to help implement this more and more. Yet it seemed like it got worse and worse and worse with each change they made. And, is that I would like to see a stat or something of, oh, well, people just aren't playing warriors and people just aren't playing support. But, then I get in games where there's 3 warriors or 2 support. And so it just seems like something's off. I don't know what it is. But, with unranked draft mode coming in, that's a happy fix for me. So
It's kind of the
yeah,
answer.
it's weird. It's just kind of unsettling to, I don't know, where things went wrong there. TPK?
Yeah, I'll definitely echo you guys on that. I feel I'm super glad. I'm very happy the rank change is coming. This is going to be huge for this game. I honestly think people are really underestimating how big of a deal this is. This is finally going to put Heroes of the Storm on par with a lot of these other big MOBA games and give them a very legitimate ranked feel, ranked structure, and give incentive for people to play, an incentive that has been completely lacking since HOTS was released, honestly. So I feel like it's going to be a lot better. I feel like the new stuff coming in is going to make things a lot better feel-wise for skill level and for matchmaking, especially since they are limiting the ability in Hero League to match with someone who is more than one full rank above or below you, which I think is going to be a huge deal because now the matchmaker won't have to compensate for if I am like a 10 and I queue with a buddy who's a 30. Now the matchmaker has to compensate that match that I get in for that huge disparity. And so there's not going to be that huge disparity anymore in the new system. So it will be a lot tighter. It'll be a lot better, a lot easier for Blizzard to make a better match off of that. So that's super exciting to me from a Hero League and Team League perspective. Bans are awesome, of course. I want them to do more. I want to get the time pool in. I want to get the hero swaps in. Because as of right now, even the tournaments still are not using the in-game draft system, and that needs to change. We need to not rely on third-party websites to do this drafting stuff. Custom tournaments, pro tournaments, like we need to be able to use the in-game draft system just as well as a third party. It would just be so much smoother. Unranked draft is a huge deal. I as well, Gizmo, have kind of voiced my concern, my frustration with quick match. I don't think I'll be doing much quick match in the future unless I want to play a hero specifically, or unless I'm trying to like get some quests done or something like that.
Which will happen.
It will. It'll still happen, but at the same time, most of my solo time or most of my time playing with others that is not ranked will probably be spent in the unranked draft mode, because it will just be so much more realistic. A good practice for the actual ranked draft mode, just give you more of that drafting practice and just be better overall. So that's a huge deal. I'm so glad they're including that in this patch. Very much needed, and this will be a huge relief to a lot of people who are stuck in that quick match. Like every game I played today, I played 5 or 6 quick match games today. Every game I played today, unless I was a heals or unless one of us queued as a heals, it was a no heal game. And those are bloodbaths, and they can be very, very frustrating sometimes, especially if you get a character that is more, or play a character that is more reliant on a healer than another character like Chromie or something like that. And it's just very frustrating sometimes. So having that kind of off to the side will be a lot better in my opinion.
Yeah, and sometimes those bloodbath games can be fun. They can
Sometimes.
be, but that's
the minority for me.
It's a totally
it's
different game though. Like when every point of damage counts, other than like fountains or going all the way back to the, Hall of Storms. Like that's pretty nuts. So, but it can be fun. I agree with you.
And those, I want to encounter those games whenever I want to encounter those games, not because matchmaking took a poop on my keyboard. I don't know. And we got one more question here from Cannibal Bob.
Cannibal Bob writes, what is your opinion on the state of the Heroes community, with the community losing 2 big names now, in Zoya and Arthalon, and now possibly Solid Jake, and, well, let's just go ahead and tack on Cloud9 to this. Do you think that the HOTS community will still thrive like it is today, or are we heading for a spiral of death? And do you think that they left because HOTS just isn't getting big enough to sustain them financially right now, like the other esports games at this current time? We've kind of addressed a lot of this throughout the episode for sure, but I wanted to read this one off anyway, just to point out one last time that earlier I didn't mean to sow a bunch of doom and gloom either. I really do think that the game's going to be fine in the long haul. Some of these things can tend to ebb and flow, and frankly, it's funny. The same exact thing is sort of happening to the Hearthstone scene right now, because there's a team called the Team Hearthlytics just broke up, and then like there's another big player, Orange, who just left Team Archon and that sort of thing. So like there are people over there that are doing the same thing, like crying that, oh no, Hearthstone esports is dead and all this, and it's not. It's going to be fine. They're going to have the viewers. They're going to continue defining their genre, frankly. And I think the same's going to happen here, because really, especially for your just average Joe, just signing on, playing the game for fun, they may not even necessarily follow the esports scene. It's not going to like kill the game for them. And on top of that, too, I think that the way that they've set up this esports season, it'll still allow for fun play. And frankly, last weekend really gave me a lot of hope. Watching Gale Force do so well was probably the most fun I've had watching the game, in at least since BlizzCon of last year. And so I'm kind of revitalized to follow their story even more. So
Yeah, I think the parity in the competitive scene is like the best it's been right now, in North America at least. Well, and even in Korea and stuff, you know. Who was it that took games off MVP Black there?
Tempest.
Yeah, Tempest.
that sounds huge.
Yeah, but it is with great regrets I announce this is the last episode of Lords of the Storm. HOTS is dead. It's gone. No, I'm kidding. The community is going to be fine. There are, you know, still a ton of great content creators. There's new podcasts popping up all the time. Again, you know, if you're listening to this show, we aren't the, you know, esports heavy podcast or anything. If you're listening to this show, you're listening because you love the game. And again, you know, we will continue to love the game. It's in a great spot.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, Heroes is officially coming out of beta this next week. There have been a lot of people leave the game because we haven't had Season 1. We didn't have bans, all this stuff that I think will come back. There's been a lot of people who haven't joined the game because we haven't had this stuff that I think will now come and at least try the game out. And yeah, you know, the community is still fantastic. There's, you know, it's a Heroes family. I think it's really nice. You know, like we've talked about before when we started this podcast, we weren't like shunned or anything as competition. We were welcomed with open arms by the community. And I think the community we've built with Discord and stuff, while, you know, things have kind of slowed down in this lull, everybody waiting for this to happen, I'm super excited to, you know, hop back in with all of you guys and just play the heck out of this game starting next week. And it's a good place to be. I'm not worried about it at all. I don't think you should be either. TBK?
Yeah, so I had lots of feelings, lots of emotions. I've been thinking over this question for quite a while, and I completely agree with what Gizmo said. I feel like June 14th is going to be Heroes release. I feel like this is basically a relaunch of the game, and I think it should be treated as such. This is really a huge deal for the game in general. Mm-hmm. I feel like in some ways, initially Heroes was rushed into esports. It was pushed that direction when it was not necessarily ready for what it took on. And so the esports scene around Heroes has had some rough starts, especially trying to get third-party stuff going. It's very hard to just do like big money stuff and then nothing else, right? And so I feel like some of this shakeup will actually be a really good thing. I feel like it's a good opportunity to start rebuilding Heroes from the ground up again. That goes for the casual, the ranked, and the pro type scenes. This Cloud9 disbanding just opens room for new blood in the Heroes community, new orgs that don't necessarily, and we don't necessarily have to have all these gigantic orgs, right? I mean, stuff will come and go. Things will hopefully grow organically, and we'll see some really cool stuff from this relaunch. I have huge faith in the Heroes community. The Heroes community is by far one of the coolest communities in a game I've ever been a part of. I mean, you can look at it just and see the grassroots things that people are putting together, the chair leagues, the HOTS United amateur scene, all the people behind those things doing so much work and really invigorating the Heroes community and giving people things to do during these massive lulls. And hopefully, eventually, once this patch comes out, people will be drawn back. People will have a reason to play ranked again. Casuals will have a reason to play again that's not quick match and not these crazy death ball type comps that are given to you randomly. I think this will do just so much for the overall health of the game, and I'm just super excited because, like you said, this is kind of the beginning again, right? This is kind of us starting over, and so as a community, we really need to band together behind this. Yes, we can lament the loss of awesome community people like Zoya, Jake, Cloud9 as a team, but at the same time, there's tons of new content creators coming in. There's tons of amateur, awesome amateur casting talent coming in, new talent like Jay Howe, who is really breaking into the pro casting scene. We still got a lot of cool people who have been around for forever. Kalaris, Gilly, we've got, Dread, just all these people that are really working to continue to make HOTS better. I feel like Blizzard is going to be doing a lot. I feel like there's a lot of stuff coming from Blizzard that we haven't seen yet. And I really hope there's a lot of stuff coming from Blizzard that we haven't seen yet. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, right? I'm hopeful that they'll really take this and run with it, especially if they see really good response to this June 14th patch as it comes, and that kind of reignites their energy for the game. And to kind of just end things off, I wanted to shout out one more thing. There's out of all the doom and gloom tonight, because there's lots of stuff that went down tonight. You can go to the Heroes of the Storm subreddit and join the community happy post party. And this is just to go in and kind of celebrate the game as it is and celebrate what we hope the game is going to be. Remember the actually really cool times. Season 1 starting soon. Chair League, Heroes Hype, like the huge moments, the Blizzard getting the 3 to 4 week release schedule down, the balance patches now coming at a regular basis, regular Q&As, cool community events like Brawl with the Blues, just really cool stuff like that. And so I just go over there, check it out, share some memories of the game, and spread some positivity. Let's spread some positivity.
I like that quite a bit. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is like the best is yet to come, as far as I'm concerned, Heroes-wise. There's a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipe. We've got a new Tavern Brawl-ish arena type mode coming, which should be cool because Tavern Brawl is literally one of the only reasons I jump on Hearthstone. Sometimes it's just like, oh, that's a cool new Tavern Brawl. Like today, I got to play with like a hand of legendaries against other people. It's just like, that's really cool. So I can't wait to see what Heroes does with that type of mode. And there's a lot of cool stuff coming, guys. So don't despair. Keep your chin up. Get ready to come back in full force June 14th. It's gonna be a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the last thing I want to say about this is, whenever we kind of sound all doom and gloom, sometimes it's not because we ever think that's the state of the game. I mean, if we do, we'll state, we think this game's crap right now. But as having a platform to talk about Heroes. It's our duty and job to present both sides to you guys. But yeah, the community's fine.
Yeah, it's because we
fine.
care.
It is,
right. If we sound passionate, if we harp on something, it's because we care about the state of the game. It's because we care about the health of the game.
And we
for
just want it to
sure.
improve, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
and we want it to be as good as it can get.
And as far as our community, like I mentioned, I know it's kind of been a little lacking. We haven't had as much interaction with you guys as of late. But again, that's going to be changing here shortly. I'm finally, I've been in Florida for over 2 months now, and I still feel like I'm not completely caught up yet. But I'm super excited to get our Monday night custom games going again, because those are our blast. And I know I've had a lot of people asking me about them, so we're super excited to get those going. And
I should personally have a
You all
bunch
are
more
awesome.
time after I'm done with this whole wedding
thing.
business or whatever at the end of this month.
But yeah, absolutely. But that is about going to wrap it up for this week, guys. Multi, where can we be reached at?
We can certainly be reached in-game by typing /join space LOTS to join our in-game channel, where you can hook up with a few of us to play there. Also, we're on Twitter at Lords of the Storm. We are on Facebook.com/Lords of the Storm podcast, where we might stream one day.
Maybe.
You just never know. But you can also send us emails, lordsofthestorm@outlook.com. We are on twitch.tv/Lords of the Storm, which is live Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central. Except this time, we did it on Thursday because last night, Ryan, you and I went to go see
Warcraft movie.
the Warcraft movie.
It was
with
good.
Swift and Killer.
Nope.
Go see
Nothing.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I hate spoilers more than
Go
most
see it.
people do.
If
But
you're a
go see
Warcraft fan, go see it. It was good.
it. Yeah, even if you're not, I think you'll get something out of it. It's fine. It's good. It's very good. All right. So then you can also, of course, we're on the Zord Network, zordnetwork.com. You can join our Discord, which we just alluded to, but it is a chat service for both voice and text chats, and there's a sticky to that on our Twitter, so check that out. And also, you can leave us 5-star iTunes reviews if you're feeling really generous and have access to that sort of thing, or a positive Stitcher, Google Play, whatever you'd like. We appreciate any of them. We'll read them out on the air if you'd like, and, they're actually a huge help. So thanks for everyone that's done that, and thanks as well to anyone who's able to give any amount on our Patreon, patreon.com/Lords of the Storm. I still cannot voice, I can't even find the words to actually thank people enough for it, but it's very much a help. And
You can't see
we
him, but he's
appreciate it.
crying right now.
I am.
Like tears of
Tears of
joy.
joy.
It's under these
We
glasses.
love you guys.
Post it on the happy page.
I will.
You can also find us individually. You can find me on Twitter at Gizmozord and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gizmozord. You can also find me not every Tuesday, a lot of Tuesdays on the Convert to Raid Presents podcast. Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central. And there's also there's a lot of stuff going on with that now. So we do a whole bunch of short episodes. So there may be stuff there's no set times. There could just be something popping up on that. So make sure you guys check that out, for a recap of a tournament, some fresh news just came out of something. So it's going to be all over the place. It's headed in a good direction. It's super exciting. Check it out. Multi, where can they find you at?
I like the new format over there, by the way. I listened to that first one where you guys switched over and you were on there, and yeah, I think it's going to be cool, for sure. But I'm on Twitter at Multizord, and I'm on another podcast called The Cavalry, which is about Overwatch. And we had a guest on this week, Ednar from the Initiative Overwatch podcast, and I played a little fiddle for him. So that's what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And TBK?
You can find me on Twitter at TBKZord and on twitch.tv/TBKZord, where normally Monday and Thursday nights I cast Chair League games with Josh Burry, who was our guest just the other episode. So that's always a ton of fun. If you haven't checked it out yet, again, I can't say enough. Check out Chair League. Check out the Heroes United stuff if you've got a team. It's a great way to break into the Heroes community and even the competitive community. There's been several teams from both Chair League and Heroes United that have gone on to do regional qualifiers and such. So yeah, check that out. It's a lot of fun. Oh, and I have to shout out, I guested on the Heroes Forge podcast this week. We forged Ragnaros, which was a ton of fun because
I
I've
still need
been
to listen
wanting.
to that.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. It was so much fun. I got to come up with a kit for Ragnaros, and now I want Blizzard to make it. Please, Blizz. But it was a lot of fun. They do really cool stuff over there. It's a very unique podcast for a Heroes podcast. It got kind of cool content you're not going to get from anything else. So if you're interested in kind of a very creative Heroes podcast, Heroes Forge is really good.
Yeah, it's a super unique show. It's definitely worth checking out. But that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode and the show ever, since it's our last one. But not really. We'll be back here next week. We won. That's probably. I shouldn't joke about that. I shouldn't joke.
No, we shouldn't.
No.
Like these.
But we want to give a special thanks to our patron producer Ouroboros Sword for helping support the show, and we will see you all next week after the changes are live. Have a good time in Heroes, everybody. Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.